we'll discuss his options. Despite being the king, is Derrick Henry the most disrespected player in the NFL? We'll tell you why we're asking. And it didn't even take Patrick Mahomes a day to get right back to his old tricks. Good Thursday morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. Jenna Wolf, we got Joy Taylor in for Nick Wright this morning. Joy, good morning to you. Brandon Marshall, Kevin Wiles. You still impressed by the no-look passes, Joy? Or are they getting like a little old at this point?
How can that get old? Look at that. It's amazing.
It's become commonplace for Patrick Mahomes already. I'm used to it. I need to see more. Impress me harder. All right, we'll get to all that in a second. We got to start this morning in Green Bay. So the Packers opened training camp yesterday, and Aaron Rodgers opened up about everything that led up to it. Unfiltered would be an understatement. He explained in detail yesterday what drove his drama-filled offseason, one in which he actually mulled retirement. One of his big gripes, not being involved at all with football decisions. Seems like that's already changing this season. All right, guys, sit back, relax, take a listen to Aaron Rodgers.
A lot of things that transpired. This wasn't, a draft day thing. This was started with a conversation in February at the season ended. And I just expressed, my desire to be more involved in conversations directly affecting my job. Also, I wanted to help the organization maybe learn from them some of the mistakes in the past, in my opinion, about the way that some of the outgoing veterans were treated, and just the fact that we didn't retain a number of players that I felt like were core players to our foundation, our locker room. And then it kind of progressed from there into a commitment for the 2021 season and beyond. That really wasn't given at any time. So for me, I had to assess the situation, not necessarily wanting to be a lame duck quarterback, especially after an MVP season, which I think you can understand. And then the other part in February was wanting to be a part of conversations involving free agents, which has never happened in my career. If you can't commit to me past 2021, and I'm not a part of recruiting process and free agency, if I'm not a part of the future, then instead of letting me be a lame duck quarterback, if you want to make a change and move forward, then go ahead and do it. That obviously didn't happen. I said it wasn't about the money, and the way that felt, kind of just doubled down on that. Nothing really changed throughout the summer. There were obviously some developments in the last week or so, but I was really working on myself and my own mental state throughout the summer, and at various points deciding if I wanted to even keep playing. But the fire still burns, and I wanted to be on a football team, and we got some things figured out in the last few days, and I'm here.
Everyone in that press conference was like, well, my job here is done. There was a lot there, Brandon. He really opened up. He gave you everything of what sort of transpired in his head the last couple of weeks, months. What was your reaction to what Rodgers said yesterday?
Hey, I love it. Joy, I think they call you, what did Uncle Shannon give you the nickname?
Queen Petty.
What did he say? You're Queen Petty? Well, they call me Messy B. I'm Messy B. I love all of this, Queen Petty. Like, this is who I am. This is what I think the NFL needs to be, the MLB needs to be. We need more of this. We need more real, authentic conversations. There's been this shift in power over the last year, racial tension soaring in 2020. We're also talking about COVID-19, the players and the owners going head to head, and we're trying to figure out what is this? Like, we need guys like Aaron Rodgers to be more real, more authentic. The owners can always hide behind the curtain and say, you know what? He's paid well. You know what? This thing is called a team. You need to sacrifice. Well, here's the deal. Everybody watching right now needs to go and watch, after our show, all 31 minutes and 39 seconds of Aaron Rodgers' press conference. This was so deep. This was so real. I mean, it was cool to watch, and I watched all of it. So here's the deal. what's happening in the National Football League right now, Joy, it's not this shift of power. It's really Aaron Rodgers and others are redefining what an NFL player is. Before, it's like, hey, you're a player, shut your mouth, go sit in the corner. This isn't the LeBron James conversation. I'm more than a player. I'm more than an athlete. That's not this. For so long, we've been telling our players, you know what, just go come in and do your job. We got everything else. And what Aaron Rodgers is saying is no, that's not going to happen. Russell Wilson is saying, no, that's not going to happen. We want a seat at the table, and we want a seat at the table now. In the National Football League, we talk about guys being put in boxes and being institutionalized. And these guys are now saying, you know what, we are the most powerful piece in this whole entity, and now we're going to use that as leverage to actually be a part of the discussion, to be a part of the bigger business. Now, what it has to take is Aaron Rodgers and other guys to step up, continue to step up and push this conversation forward. But we didn't see that before. My only gripe with Aaron Joy is this. Why did it take 16 years for you to stand up against the organization? Now, you mentioned all these other guys, Jordy Nelson, you mentioned Julius Peppers, James Jones, and all these other people. Well, when your contract is up for discussion and you're in year 16 and they're about to treat you this way, now you want to go back and say, hey, why did you treat the other guys that way? You were Aaron Rodgers, starting quarterback of that franchise for 14 years. You should have done that before.
Well, two things. One, I would say it's the Tom Brady effect, which is my initial thought on why all of this is happening, and I'll get to that in a second. And second, I would say sometimes, you can't truly empathize until you're in that situation. So, you can say you support the other guys, and I'm sure he does, but maybe, this is the part of the reason why he is standing up the way he is now is because, like you said, now he's the guy who they're kind of phasing out of the organization.
Trying to push out, yeah.
Right. Now, he's been a great company man for a very long time, and now he's in a different situation, and he's realizing, hey, wait a minute. I'm Aaron Rodgers. You can't do this to me. And he's played his cards. I thought he was brilliant yesterday. You were watching an intelligent person play their hands brilliantly. He wasn't emotional, but had just enough humility. He made great points. He landed them. He took little jabs, but not too much. And he kept it real. I mean, it was a masterclass in, he read them to the T, honey. Oh, I loved it. I was here for every second of it and enjoyed it. Because we have been through a lot. Oh, I loved it. But it was really measured. It was really measured. It was really transparent. And I thought he really got his point across from his mouth, which I think was important. I didn't know how Aaron Rodgers was going to handle it. I always thought he was going to be in training camp, but was he going to continue this sort of passive-aggressive, speaking through other people, all of this mess that we've all talked about all offseason? But he didn't. He went straight for it, stood in front of the media, gave everyone his thoughts, what was going on, what he wanted, what he asked for, what he felt. And I thought he was very almost relatable. I mean, if I'm a Packers fan, how can you watch that and feel like, wait a minute.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers might know a thing or two about this organization now that I think about it. So I thought he nailed it. It was a really crazy offseason for the Packers and for Aaron Rodgers. He stood up there. We got it straight from him, what he was feeling. And I don't think he's wrong. I don't think there's a winner and loser overall in the situation. I do think the front office took an L yesterday, but the compromise that these two parties have come to has set the Packers up to have their last dance. I do think this is the end for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. We'll see, and we'll talk about that later. But I thought yesterday was a really good day for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, so Joy, you mentioned Tom Brady, and I think you and I picked up on a similar vibe. Brandon, I thought the specter of Tom Brady hung over that entire news conference, both from two organizations that Brady played for. One is the Patriots, because the way that Aaron Rodgers was describing how the Packers organization ran, which is you don't get a lot of input on the personnel decisions, and we're going to cut guys before they're sort of done with they still have more left in the tank, but we're going to cut them, and we're going to try to save money. That's how the Patriots work. That is a successful plan if you have Bill Belichick pulling the strings. You also have to back it up. You got to win 6 Super Bowls.